Welcome, welcome back, and welcome home. My name is Melissa, and I will be your multi-density cosmic tour guide today. We are going to talk about energy healing, cleansing, clearing, deliverance, freedom, just all of the energy work and the frequency healing called Scalar. So let me preface this by saying we're in the Scalar frequency right now. I've got my setup here around my office, and I've been working today on cleansing and clearing crystals. So I'm on a Super 7 Melody Stone day. So I've got some Super 7 Melody Stones in front of me. Super 7, anyone? I'm wearing it today. And really working on the energy healing works and that some of us came here to be part of. So, and freedom for all. So if you would like, you can feel the energy frequency scalar field, which is wholeness, grace. So a little bit like the violet flame. So the scalar technology is invented by Tesla back in the day. And the pure scalar energy field is just energy or frequency that goes in your mind, body, spirit, soul energy field and connects with your divinity and talks to your molecular structure and your cellular structure and brings you back into wholeness, gently, harmony, wholeness, gently, grace, gently. And helps with your cleansing, clearing, healing, shamanic practices, deliverance prayers, things like that. Everything that we have been working toward to help us heal. So the scalar energy field is actually talking to your own divinity. So if anyone wants that, here we go. So, many of you are healers and empaths and medical people and alchemists, magicians, and psychics and mediums. And so I'm really excited to say that we get to go into the next level of healing in these next years. So all of you know that we've been all working on our shadow, our self-care, our inner child, as well as our generational patterns and all the curses and the generational imprints and projections of others and all around us in every level and every layer. And that's a lot. We have a lot of layers of our mind, body, spirit, soul. I like to call them bandwidth layers because each of us in different ways are more prominent. We function more prominently or are wounded more prominently in different layers of our being here on earth. And, I think most of you have one foot in spirit and one foot on earth at all times. And in these last years, it's been a little bit challenging to work on those generational patterns, like to do the cleansing and clearing. And I think we've all been learning a lot in those higher levels of ourselves and all the different systems in us. And one of the cool things that I have learned over the years, I remember talking about it with my energy healer person and therapy person over 15 years ago. And we talked about how all of the energy healers, the shamans, the alchemists, the magicians here could play a role, the grid workers play a role in helping bring back alignment into the divine plan, each one starting with ourselves, of course, and helping the collective in different ways. And I remember us talking about, in all these different levels and layers, we have so much wounds, so much trauma, so much inverted energy in our every system that we've ever known throughout history. So we have it in our DNA, we have it in our etheric DNA, and all of our circumstances around us. So each of us react and behave differently to things. Some of us are more affected by some of it. Some of us are less affected by some of it. And we all came here with purposes to learn and grow and really kind of pull back different, in each of our missions, we pull back different pieces or fragmented pieces of us and the collective back into divine order. We can say that about the Super 7. So the reason this is called the Super 7 is that there are 7 minerals, there are 7 main components, or 7 different crystal types in one crystal. So of course the main component is the amethyst in this. And the reason it's called Super 7 is because there's 6 others, like citrine and right at this moment, I don't remember some of the others, but there are 7 different crystals in this one. And there was this lady named Melody who wrote one of the main crystal Bible or something, and her favorite stone was the Super 7. And of course, they named it after her, the Melody Stone. Well, each one of us, our own unique selves, have many, 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 many layers as well. We have different components and characteristics that make us our own unique selves, our own frequencies. And just like the crystal that we would call inanimate object, some of the pieces have been inverted in everything around us. So there's lower matrix, fallen lower matrix in everything, in our words, in our colors, in our belief systems, in our systems in every direction, every layer, in our thoughts, everything. And even in the earth, even in our crystals, in each one of us. But guess what? Each one of us are so uniquely irreplaceable. And each of us have our own frequencies, and that is exactly who we're supposed to be. And, that is part of the divine plan. No one's more chosen than another. This I know. So when we work on energy healing, sometimes we work on a particular layer of our deepest, heaviest wounds. And sometimes we can't do it all. We have to do step by step and peel away the onion. And that's a good one too, because there are many layers to the onions. They're very light. There's some thicker ones. There's some outside skin and a little bit more outside skin. And so that's how each of us are made up in our consciousness. Sometimes, as I remember talking to my energy healer and ritual therapist person, we were talking about how some of us are in different collectives. So it can go like this. Many of us are in a collective consciousness layer with others that we perhaps grew up with, or live in the same neighborhood with, or go to the same churches or schools with. And our different belief systems brings us into different collective groups. And in that, there are different collective groups that think in particular ways or have function in their different bandwidth layers in similar ways. They act or react or have the same direction in their consciousness. So on top of hundreds of thousands of layers, maybe 144,000 layers, we came here to cleanse and clear and heal. So as we're cleansing and clearing and healing, of course, we can only work on ourselves, and no really good, knowledgeable energy healer or minister or medical person would be in your energy except to help you. Like if you had to have surgery to save your life or help you, they would be in your energy field for a moment. But no one would actually have actual access into your mind, body, spirit, soul energies. And furthermore, I doubt that most people are having massive amounts of witchcrafts and karmics, doing voodoo and things like that. Some of us have. I have had a lot of that, and some of us are thinking, wait a minute, it's just bouncing in the energies throughout history. Some of the things that are have happened are continuing to bounce into our energies, all of our energy fields, and that's part of our generational patterns. And I always use this term, like, how many thousands of movies are running at full volume, full speed in our consciousness at the same time in these different levels. So we hope it would be romantic comedies and like successful, victorious, wonderful movies. But sometimes there are many of the psychological thrillers going on, and probably some zombie apocalypses and some werewolf scary things and paranormal activities and all kinds of stuff going on in our subconscious movies that got us entangled. And some of the people next door might not have some of the same movies going, but again, we hope it's the fun and funny movies and with the beautiful people and happy and perfect lives. But sometimes it's not. And those are the things that we're shutting down and stopping. And that could correlate with our demons, our addictions, our wounds and traumas. And so there are really good pieces to this as well. So some of who we are in a rich and abundance and healthy, joyous state of being with others in collective groups as well. And that's what we've all been working for, this higher earth, 5D, higher heaven on earth as above. So those things are what we've been working on, the many layers on cleansing and clearing. And as we do that, we can also call it transmutation. And as we do that, we can also call it alchemy, because energy can be manipulated and used in different ways, but it cannot be extinguished, hopefully. So we are learning more and more as science and spirit come together, as earth and spirit, ether, come together. Heaven and the physical plane come together. And we're learning that in each one of us. And those are our coded activations and our downloads. We remember throughout history some of the different things, the memories of, 12,000 years ago, and the Egyptian something. And we don't even know that history. We don't even remember. We don't know. And the Chinese dynasties of thousands and thousands of years ago. And this is, an indication that we can see the different types of frequencies and tones or rays that some cultures or groups throughout time, as well as different civilizations, have held. And we are remembering those pieces and being recoded or activated and recalibrated in the divine plan, remembering pieces of those times. Lots of Egyptian magical beings are showing up in readings. And what I mean is in the people's energies. And they are remembering or having resonance with Egyptian truth. And the Egyptians, I don't think use the word Christ, but because a lot of that old history is before Jesus' time, so it was the BC times, and but that's what they were going for as well, remembering the Christos and the flow, coming back into the circle of God and awakening and becoming their alchemist selves. So remember these different archetypes we've been cleansing and clearing over the years. So we've got pieces of us that are the knowledge and the gatekeepers and the way showers and the alchemists and the magicians. Those are archetypes in us. And we're remembering our backgrounds. Some of us could, have a lot of memory of the Vikings and the Druid old days. And again, BC times. And a little cavemanish going on. But they always were connected to the earth and the skies in different ways. and more sacred ways than we could remember, right? And in different cultures, perhaps some of the angels and the archangels or the divine beings, the deities, that have been so inverted and tarnished, just as each and every one of us have been tarnished, and have pieces of us that are fallen in the lower fallen matrix, not because we are bad, but because we all have stuff, we all have attachments, we all have wounds and traumas. Some of those beings and deities were from those cultures. That was the belief system, and Christ existed in those things. And some we can look and go, isn't that very similar to the archangels? Isn't that not very similar to the maybe gods and goddesses of India and the gods and goddesses of Greece, or Norwegian, which would be like Odin and Freya, and so those are all pieces of our higher selves, and many of you are remembering some of your magic, which is Christ. That purified truth is Christ, and so there's just like we have different tastes and opinions and things that we like. We're remembering the ways that we perceive and flow in that Christ in these different ways and these different layers of who we are, our higher selves, and our different layers of who we are. And in essence, we're reactivating and organizing our DNA and all the indigos and the starseeds and the crystallines and the rainbows and the different types of earth angels and chosen and anointed words that we use have different purposes on how to do that, like bring it in different ways. Some of us nourish each other. Some of us connect. Some of us are better at grounded, balanced, organized ways of bringing that Christed energy, or that opportunity for freedom and deliverance. And some of us do it in totally different ways. And so I'm seeing this so beautifully unfold for so many people. And I feel like all of the light beings that have come here with extra missions and extra service to humanity, purposes and intentions, the grid workers coming back into just wildly strong lightness of being after being annihilated and martyred and persecuted and things like that, and having us all recognize a different level of unity consciousness than we ever have before. And that is that higher love, and that's that sacred truth within all of us. So I'm really excited about that. I know many of you are also psychics and healers, and we all do it in different ways, but I love this freedom coming in for everybody. And I know we're up against so much stuff, the AIs and the demons and devils of this world have been so profound that each of us have been, just kicked around, and it's been confusing. But at the same time, I am seeing a rise of the light in each of us, the Christed energies, or Christ in us. Well, for me, I like to use pieces of all of it, and not to distort everything, because we're all, a little distorted in some ways, but to help others. Over the years that I've always liked to use deliverance prayers, frequencies, rife frequencies, 528s and 432 hertz, and the thetas and the betas and the alpha levels, and certainly being a psychic medium all these years, really asking for our guides and guardian angels. And for me, it's Jesus Christ, Mother Mary, and archangels. And when those beings are not distorted, and they can help us a whole lot. And I remember over all the years asking God, Source Creator, I'm like, look, this path is exciting. Let's make it adventurous and loving and fun and colorful and beautiful and honest and good and genuine. So it happened that way. And I've always loved Mother Mary. And when I was, I think, 20, 21, 19, 22, 23, somewhere along there, I got a message from my guides and guardian angels about Melchizedek. I had never heard that word before. And then I found out there were books, and that is a group of priesthood, etheric, as well as way old civilization priesthood that holds love. Bringer, way shore of love. So I asked for the Melchizedeks and healers, soul tribes, soul families, and all the healers and saints in the Holy Spirit when I'm doing deliverance prayers and working with people in their shoes so that they are comfortable in their healing and can connect their way with God's source creator and Christ. So, as we're all in the different collectives and the different conscious levels and layers of consciousness, we have many, 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 many pieces in us that are fragmented as well. Some of the ends of the civilizations fragmented many people, and there's cosmic things going on that are some of the darker things came in different ways than we ever knew about. Those are being undone. And just as we know, the phantom system is it's almost like vacuumed out, and it has been, and mended. So it's almost like if we had a terrible tornado and it picked up our house and took us to the land of Oz. That would suck. It really wouldn't be funny. Then you had like poppy fields and flying monkeys to deal with, and witches and mean people and happy people and awesome Oompa Loompas and things like that. That's a different movie, I know, but I'm just throwing it all in together. Many movies going on in our consciousness. And so it's almost like there's a hole where our home used to be. And the phantom systems were like black holes and rips and tears in the big divine image of God. And we fit in the big divine image of God in layers and places as well, all of us. And those pieces are being healed and mended, coming out of the darkness, dark ages, on the levels of history and the levels of the earth and the skies and mental things and all the things we think we know, and our belief systems and emotional, how we felt and how people throughout history have felt. Those things are in part of our divine plan, our blueprint, image of God, are being healed and mended. And sometimes you just can't do it all at once in our own healing, as well as the big picture, the whole collective of all of humanity. And can't do it all in 1 second or 1 day. Sometimes we can, some pieces we can. But the phantom systems were like delousing the trauma and the PTSDs and the belief and knowing that that's how it's going to be, the past fallen dark things. And so that's not always easy. So we keep healing and we keep having deliverance from our demons and addictions and our worries and stresses and pains and traumas and everything that's infested and imprinted and projected into us. So it's really been a strong thing that we've been doing as we walk toward each of our awakenings, and each of our steps become more clear, and then they don't, and then they become more clear, and then they don't. And I'm really excited because even though perhaps, especially in the United States, the shifts and the different balances or imbalances of power and the way we see things are happening, especially being a political year. If we can see past some of those things, we realize that collective consciousness unity is the way to go. And we're going to keep walking toward that. We can all, there really is enough for all of us. There's plenty. Richness, healthiness, safety, compassion, love, connection, everything we ever needed. And we just have to navigate and find those shifts in every layer of who we are. I remember one year, I was having a particularly hard time with finding freedom or deliverance from some of my demons or my experiences. So I know some of you have been through really tough stuff that's traumatizing, painful. Or groups of you have, like maybe your whole place that you live has gone through gone through a tornado, or maybe everyone there's MK Ultra, or targeted, or different things. And so I was having a particularly tough time, and I came here to learn in these ways so that I could be helpful. I could be continuing on my path so I could help other people on theirs. But I asked for Mother Mary a couple of times, and sometimes just like any affirmations or prayers help us. I think I was doing some rosaries at the time, and then Mother Mary came to see me, and I was like, man, some dark attachment is trying to kick my tiny little hiney right now. It's kind of holding on to me, and I was, since I'm a visionary seer person, I could see it. It was scary. And I had Mother Mary come in, and we did prayers together, and it was just, I could feel the overwhelming true love, that higher love, compassion, unconditional love. And she spoke to me, and she said, I couldn't believe it. So she said, that demon thing, or that thing that was sent to you, or attached onto you, or was in your trauma, or in your shadow, whatever it is, whatever it was, she pulled it off of me, and she held it up, and she says, really, in the big picture, it's a little like wet mouse rat thing. And, it's energy had and she took a boxing glove, and because I always ask, we make this fun, because this sucks to learn any of these paths we are on in the spiritual realm. It sucks. It hurts. It's confusing. So she took a boxing glove, and she said, yeah, look. And I'm like, I can't imagine Mother Mary just boxing a demon-y thing. And she says, yes, but that's that lower dimensional energies, and they feed and are, just trying to terrorize you, and you in particular, going through lots of targeting, abuse, trauma, abomination, all that kind of stuff. It just, it can get in sometimes. And so, some people would say, oh, you should have just shut up and be quiet and oppress that. And, shut the door, because I could have, and maybe they could have, maybe they would be better at it than you, but they don't know, because they're not in your shoes. So, but the heavens and the divine beings, the Holy Spirit, in whatever ways you are comfortable with, in that Christed energy, purified, pure wholeness, Christos, will help you. And she said, this does not belong to you, or it's not even about you. It was not your fault. And so she took it and cleansed it and cleared it, and she touched my energy field and shut that down, and I never felt that way again. And so she was teaching me how I can be of service. This was just one moment of amazing adventure of a life, and following my calling in Christ, as always, and being a unique individual character, as I am, and as you are. And we can do this, is what I'm saying. And your answers, God, Source Creator, will answer you in your heart and soul in the right ways, where you can make your next steps forward. And you do have help. And there are lots of good healers and freedom, deliverance, prayer people, and it's the rise of the light workers, the ministers, and the medical, and the teachers, and the healers, and the indigos, and psychics, and the mediums, whatever you resonate with. And even some of the witches, as we remember all those different civilizations, and the truth in us will keep coming back up, up, up in our consciousness, and outshine, cleanse, clear, and heal, and alchemize us back into our golden era and our golden energies. And we can do that in the earth as well. So the grid workers and the people that can see in many different layers of consciousness and the densities, past, present, and future. No one will ever be in your energy, but they will help you in different ways, in whatever ways are best for you. And that's what this new, it's not really new technology, but the technology where we have at our fingertips the things like scalar energy, the vibrational frequencies, the hertz, the tuning forks, the old school, new earth school, mystery school truths will stand up in you and help you alchemize and come back into your truth, and it'll help your energies around wherever you live, wherever you like to be, wherever your family lives. It just, little pieces light up at once. There's so much light coming in, and it shifts us. And I think in these next years, we're going to learn a little bit more how to shake out, revibrate, and realign and recalibrate in wholeness more, so that we don't have as much illness and disease. So we're all working on it, and we all have these cool purposes and missions. And I think that we're getting ready to have so much more clarity on some of our purposes and missions. And some of us, you, me, us, them, we might be loud and talkative and colorful and talk to lots of people. We might not. And so whatever ways that you nourish and help other people and have compassion and kindness and love, it will be returned to you. Just will. So, I've been working on the energies around me, the circumstances, the earth grids, everything around me for a while. Not that I've done a great job at some of it sometimes, but I sure have learned a lot in these last years, and I've kind of been quiet, and I'm really excited to be able to share some of the things so that all of us can have answers and truth, and we can understand how to resonate and stand up in our truth together. And I am seeing connections and people that will tell you the truth, be magnetized to each one of us more and more. So let's keep going, moving ahead. And I'm really, 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 really wanting to thank you all for being your own unique selves. And as this scalar energy and our energies learn how to connect and talk to each other's mind, body, spirit, souls without infiltrating, projecting, imprinting, entangling, ripping and tearing each other's energies, we will, in many of our layers, more and more, it's almost like getting more clear, more clear, and more clear. We will very much be able to recognize not only ourselves in the mirror, but in each other's eyes and hearts, the mirrors of each other, and connections with our soul tribe, soul families, and things like that. And some of those many layers that are sometimes very dark, like that are connected in our collective consciousness, and sometimes in the big picture of all of humanity throughout history, all of humanity, we have a similar signature that was not, it was dark, wasn't supposed to be there. And then in our different groups or life experiences, it puts us in other, like many other layers of similar groups. So as we all know now, the words of like narcissisms or predator energy or misuse of power energy or abuse. We also know victims, well, weaklings, fragments, frayed, and afraid, fear on the other coin. And those things are being balanced, as well as like in the phantom systems. That's also helping us balance out, because those they're being shut down. And that means the soul contracts that we had with like narcissists and stuff, that's really not really exactly, in my perspective at least, how it went down. But it was a program and projection, and we can all come out of that, out of the victimhood, out of the narcissism, out of the selfishness, out of the fear and the weakness, and those pieces that we don't want to be. And that's being erased out of so many bandwidth layers of who we are, that someday for our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, it cannot exist. So we're going to take many frequencies and subjects, issues, circumstances, and do that in the earth, in the sky, in the systems that we walk in, and in the archetypes of who we are. And all of it brings us to the alchemist in us. Alchemist in brings all the different types of metal and pulls it back into gold. Purified Christ. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about alchemy or magic, and that purified Christ. We will continue to walk in and be. And thank you for who you are. So it's good to see you, and I'll see you soon. And anyone interested in Melody Stone, which is one of my favorites also, just let me know, because I've got some cool points for sale and for different things as well. So thank you for being who you are, and thanks for the likes and the shares and the comments and questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you. See you soon.